There is only one factor for the development of Earth, and that is enhancement of awareness. It's hard to imagine today that these words were uttered by Vladimir Vernadsky back in the 19th century. He was only 30. Nobody could understand him. More than half a century on, despite being abandoned by his colleagues, he continues to move forward. Vladimir Ivanovich Vernadsky was a prominent Russian researcher and scholar, philosopher and thinker, public figure and educator. He believed in joint rational efforts of all mankind, aimed not only to address their own needs, but also to study and maintain harmonious and balanced ecosystems of Earth. In his works, Vladimir Vernadsky emphasized the importance to control the exchange of substances and energy between society and nature as a pathway leading to the noosphere. His ideas were way ahead of their time. It is only now, in the face of rising global challenges of the modern era, that the scholar's shrewd words on the importance to think and act in the planetary biosphere aspect become clear. Vladimir Vernadsky dedicated his life to scientific proving of the great cosmic harmony system. About 2 years of that life were spent in Crimea. In part, it was thanks to the efforts of Vladimir Vernadsky and his disciples that in the early 20th century, scientific research was booming in Crimea. The scholar used the knowledge he acquired then to create a cohesive scientific worldview. Back in 1916, while being a member of the State Council, Vladimir Vernadsky supported the initiative to establish a university in Crimea. The following year, he promoted it again, this time in the capacity as the Ministry of Education official. In 1918, Tavrida University finally opened its doors. In spring of 1920, Vladimir Vernadsky was elected full professor at the university's Department of Geology. By then, Tavrida University already had 4 academicians and over 100 professors among its staff. The Department of Geology boasted internationally renowned scientists Nikolai Andrusov, Vladimir Obruchev and Sergei Popov, and was unparalleled in its intellectual and research capabilities. In May of 1920, the Vernadskys moved into the Vorontsov's palace in the Salgirka Park, which at the time lay on the outskirts of Simferopol. Among the advantages of the place was the laboratory, which, although not that well equipped, was the best in Simferopol. Vladimir Vernadsky transformed it into the first living matter laboratory, where, surrounded by nature, he walked incessantly, making observations and researching. His diary entries from that period are serene. The 13th of May. I'm sitting in the balcony at the Vorontsov's palace, surrounded by bird sounds on a cold and clear morning after a few stormy and rainy days. I have many new ideas and plans. Created at the end of the 18th century by renowned naturalist Peter Pallas, the park was a powerful, thought-provoking factor. Nearby Peter Pallas's house, a part of which can still be found standing in the park today, lay the estate of Christian von Steven, one of the Nikita Botanical Garden creators. Prominent forest researcher and botanist Professor Georgy Morozov also once lived and worked there. Everything in the park was infused with historical and scientific associations, which perfectly corresponded with Vladimir Vernadsky's reflections on the noosphere. Various places in Crimea that the scholar studied with such pleasure bore the traces of creative and rational transformation of nature. The park was the place where the process of science was carried out close to and in harmony with nature. Amid the chaos and uncertainty of the 1920s, Vladimir Vernadsky was fortunate to live and work in that park for several months. On October 10, 1920, Vladimir Vernadsky was elected rector of Tavrida University. Under his guidance, the university grew to become the intellectual hub of Crimea. Famous Russian and Soviet writers Konstantin Trenev, Sergei Sergeyevtsensky, Ivan Shmelyov, Arkady Averchenko and Maximilian Voloshin were invited to give lectures there. The university staff participated in rescuing unique books from private libraries across the peninsula. Over 4,000 of thus rescued rare items that once belonged to notable professor of histology Alexander Golubev are now a particular source of pride for the university library. On November 13, 1920, the Red Army entered Simferopol. At the time when all that concerned people was security and safety of their lives and properties and no values were firm, Vladimir Vernadsky's absolute belief in the necessity to engage in sound scientific work made him a unique figure and placed him beyond standard solutions. The new authorities respected the scholar and didn't cause him any harm, although they never agreed with his mission. The externally driven reform process was launched at the university. It was renamed Frunze Crimean University. A number of its faculties was shut down, and the curriculum was changed substantially. The government representatives joined the university's administrative bodies, and thus it was deprived of its independence. In 1921, Vladimir Vernadsky stepped down from his position as the university rector. In his note on the importance to maintain Tavrida University, he warned about the consequences of destruction of the university tradition. His further life was filled with research and writing. He extensively published both in Russia and abroad. His ideas on the biosphere and the noosphere were gaining recognition. Those ideas were filled with his memories of Crimea and observations and discoveries made there. Vladimir Vernadsky's life story is tightly intertwined with and indispensable to the history of the peninsula. In Crimea, he is and will always be remembered as a person who substantially contributed to the development of higher education and research in the region. In 1999, the university where Vladimir Vernadsky taught and researched in the past was raised in status and renamed to become Tavrida National Vernadsky University. In 2014, several leading Crimean higher education institutions, including Tavrida National Vernadsky University, were merged to form Vernadsky Crimean Federal University. There is a statue of Vladimir Vernadsky outside the entrance to the university, which bears the following inscription: "Only in a university environment can one have the opportunity to experience the world of global knowledge in all its greatness." In 2003, in recognition of his contribution to the establishment of the first university in Crimea, Vladimir Vernadsky was awarded the title of Honorary Resident of Crimea. The university has set up the Vernadsky Gold Medal to recognize individuals and teams that have achieved great successes in research. Vladimir Vernadsky's name is increasingly used in the toponymy of Crimea. In 2003, the street where the university is located was renamed Prospekt Akademika Vernadskого. The name of the prominent scientist is also borne by the shaft in one of the cave chambers discovered by the university's researchers in the Crimean mountains. One of the minor planets in the solar system found by astronomers from the Crimean Astrophysical Observatory. And the mud volcano in the Kerch Peninsula that was declared natural monument in 1969. A reconstruction of Vladimir Vernadsky's study is on display at the Vorontsov's Palace, where in 1920 the scholar established the first living matter laboratory. One of the scientist's disciples, Professor Nikolai Bagrov, transformed the Salgirka Park into a botanic garden, which nowadays also serves as an open-air laboratory. The rehabilitation of the old park is a tribute to the memory of the great scholar and his legacy. A stunning feature of the park is the exquisitely ornate noosphere pavilion, which complements the beauty of the surrounding landscape. It was designed to communicate the idea of the all-encompassing nature of scientific knowledge and raise thoughts on the significance of the part the human mind plays in the evolution of the planet. Vernadsky Crimean Federal University attaches a very special importance to the development of Vladimir Vernadsky's theories of the biosphere and the noosphere. The noospheric paradigm of evolution is considered key to the sustainable development of civilization. The university is committed to producing graduates capable to provide solutions for harmonious interaction between people, society, and nature. Crimea has been destined by history to become a testing ground for a model of noospheric development. This is our tribute to the great scholar. This is the future of Vernadsky Crimean Federal University and the future of Crimea.